The incident occurred in a village near the border in Acre approximately 15 years ago. To begin, my father-in-law's family was relatively wealthy in that region. My father-in-law, a relatively educated civil servant, lived in the city, but was in the village for summer vacation when the incident took place. During the summer, they took their livestock to the highlands where a few shepherds watch over them, living in tents for 3 to 4 months. For those who know, many villages in the east and southeast regions of Turkey were previously inhabited by Armenians. There are many lands and structures inherited from them, and this island was near such ruins the old remains could still be seen. One night, a shepherd wakes up to the barking of dogs, thinking it might be wolves, and goes towards the dogs, but sees nothing. Shepherds get suspicious and check the area during the day. They find a hole among the ruins about half a meter in diameter. They assume it might be a hole made by a small animal like a fox or a mouse, causing the dogs to bark and dismiss it. The same thing happens the next night, and this time the shepherd sees flames coming from the hole. Excited, he wakes the other two shepherds, and they all see blue flames. They think it might be natural gas or a similar gas due to the presence of hot springs in the region, even getting excited thinking it could be profitable. The next morning, they see the fire is out and start digging the hole with picks. After some digging, they descend into a large room. Confused, they think there might be treasure and start breaking through the walls. Eventually, they find a small chest. Inside, they find hair, teeth, bones, and a piece of leather with Armenian letters wrapped in a cloth. But as soon as they open it, a foul smell spreads. They take the chest back to their tent, but as they approach the animals, the sheep scatter in panic. The dogs bark, and the sheep try to escape the pen. The shepherds don't initially realize this is related to the chest. Realizing this can't go on, they send one of them to the village with the chest to show it to someone knowledgeable, who turns out to be my father-in-law. He recognizes the Armenian letters, but tells them to get rid of it after seeing the bones. However, the shepherds ignore his advice and hide the chest to ask others, but controlling the animals is impossible with the chest around. One of the shepherds suspects it might be cursed and takes the chest to a local spiritual healer. The healer sees the chest from the garden and tells him to leave it outside before entering. The healer asks about its contents and, after hearing, says there is a buried treasure with a powerful demon attached, which could torment their entire lineage. He advises them to return the chest to its place, cover it, recite specific prayers, and never to disturb the treasure. Frightened but tempted by the treasure, they decide to dig at night when no one is around. They dig for a few hours but find nothing and go to sleep. The animals continue to make noise, so they return the chest to the hole, and the noise stops. The healer warns that 3 powerful demons are now attached to the 3 shepherds and advises them to seek help from another expert in Erzurum who might help if he agrees. My father-in-law's brothers beat the shepherds and drive them away, then sacrifice animals in several villages, hoping to end the curse. However, the shepherds decide to dig for the treasure despite the warnings. One of them refuses and goes to Erzurum for help, disappearing without a trace. The remaining to dig and find another chest filled with women's hair. They keep digging, but in the morning receive a call that one shepherd's wife has been severely burned. He rushes to the hospital, but she dies. The other shepherd, scared, immediately sacrifices an animal and goes to the healer in Erzurum. The healer, known for dealing with such matters, says he's been waiting for years for someone to release this demon and that it's now bound to them. He instructs them to find their missing friend, saying he has been taken and is serving the demons. They must gather all three of them to exorcise the demon. They find their friend in the ruins in a terrible state and try to pull him out, but it's like he's tied. Following the healer's instructions, they manage to free him temporarily, but he is dragged back. Desperate, they call the healer, who tells them their friend is dead, but the demon within him is also dead. Now they must come to Erzurum to exorcise the remaining demons. Traveling to Erzurum, the healer tells them their friend's demon is dead, but another is still present. The healer explains that the demon is bound to the remaining shepherd, and he needs a powerful spirit Hadam to remove it. This requires burying special amulets in specific locations to seek protection from 7 different tribes of spirits. They bury the amulets, and the shepherd's burnt child recovers. The house is lost, but they move to Van. The rituals and sacrifices finally end the torment. In conclusion, one shepherd disappeared without a trace, another's wife died, and the third's child was severely burned but survived. The one whose child was burned moved away, and the others remained in the village. I heard this story from my father-in-law in a family gathering. I insisted on hearing it when he advised against seeking treasures. I even recorded it. Later, I visited the village and met the shepherd with my father-in-law's reference. He agreed to tell the story again, but swore on the Quran not to reveal the location of the chest. Despite wanting to see the place, I was strictly warned not to by my father-in-law and others.